No. I didn't give him no vote.
Call meeting to order. We're going to start with the flag salute, please. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please pray with me. Lord Jesus, be with us now as we convene our meeting. Help us recognize your presence here and in one another. May friendship flourish here. Fill us with a deep sense of peace as we set forth together. Inspire us to listen with attention and patience to one another, to share with courage and generosity, and to welcome the ideas presented today. May this meeting of ours build our community and increase the confidence in ourselves and our school. Amen.
Thank you. We do roll call, please.
Mr. Newsom.
Here.
Mr. Riley.
Here.
Mrs. Rowland.
Present.
Mrs. Troop.
Present.
Mrs. Zimmershed.
Here. Okay. Elections of President, Vice President, Clerk, Deputy Clerk of the Board, each of who shall serve for a term of 1 year. Generally, after our general elections, we nominate our new officers, so I will let Ms. Shelley Arrett take over.
Okay, so for the office of president, do we have a nomination from the board?
I move we approve Judy Troop.
A second?
I'll second.
Roll call. Mrs. Zimmershed.
Aye.
Mrs. Troop.
Aye.
Mr. Riley.
Aye.
Mr. Newsom.
Aye.
Mrs. Rowland.
Aye.
Okay, and at this time, you will take over, Mrs. Troop, for the election of vice president.
Don't forget your name.
Deputy clerk.
Be like a Freaky Friday where they switch.
She's going
Now
to sit by
you're
you.
stuck with me.
You're in trouble now.
Send you over there with Robin.
Okay. Upside, right side up.
Yeah.
Okay. I gotta raise this up.
Okay, just step on that and it should raise right up right there.
I go as low as I possibly can so I can't see you.
My legs are longer. Okay. Now we're going to have election for vice president. Oh, sorry. Let me get situated here. Now we're going to have election for vice president. Do I have any nominations?
I'd like to nominate Don Newsom for vice president.
And I'll second.
Okay, Don Newsom has been elected.
Okay, I need to call for the vote. Mrs. Troop.
Aye.
Mrs. Rowland.
Aye.
Mr. Newsom.
Aye.
Mrs. Zimmershed.
Aye.
Mr. Riley.
Aye.
Now we're going to do the two together, the clerk and the deputy clerk. Do I have any nominations for the clerk and deputy clerk?
I'd like to nominate Betty Johnston to continue serving in the district as a clerk of the board.
And I will second that.
And okay, so we can do both in one?
Yeah, let's do
And
both.
Kathy Conrad as the deputy clerk.
And I'll do the second.
Okay, call for the vote.
Mrs. Zimmershed.
Aye.
Mr. Riley.
Aye.
Mrs. Rowland.
Aye.
Mr. Newsom.
Aye.
Mrs. Troop.
Aye. Okay, was that it? Now we're, okay, now we're ready for our presentations and recognitions. Presentation of Employee of the Month and Friend of Education Awards. Sorry. Okay. Certified Employee of the Month is Chad Bodenstein, physical education teacher at Garfield Elementary.
Okay, maybe, is that? Get it really,
That's really close.
I don't want to like eat it.
Get up right in front.
Okay. Okay, so Coach B is a Wildcat in every way. He's made a huge difference in our Garfield Wildcats. We're moving him. We're moving him.
You did fine.
They are absolutely loving going to PE and learning about different sports, which includes rules and expectations for each sport. He teaches them how to work as a team. He is a role model for positive attitude and helps our students by showing them they can always improve their skills. It's wonderful to listen to our students laugh and have a good time in gym. They're excited about each new sport. He is a leader, always has a smile on his face, and he builds rapport and relationships with each and every student at Garfield. Thank you so much, and congratulations.
Thank you, Chad.
Okay, the next award is for Support Employee of the Month, and this is in memory of Judy Swain, Title I Teacher Assistant at Garfield Elementary.
And we're going to have her son Josh and her grandson come up.
He's a cutie.
So this is in memory of Judy Swain. Judy Swain had a heart for all students and found ways, even when no one else could, to help them be successful. She greeted students as they entered the building and made sure they all had coats and warm clothes for winter. She had a love of reading and shared that love with her students. Judy was well respected and helped wherever she could. She loved Garfield. Please accept the April Support Employee of the Month in her honor.
Okay, the next reward is for Friends of Education. It's Wolf Pack Performance, supporter of Ponca City Public Schools.
Woodlands Elementary School is proud that Wolfpack Performance is being recognized as the Friend of Education for April 2022. Hunter and Dylan Wolf are certainly deserving of this award. Last fall, Wolfpack partnered with Woodlands to provide incentives for the United Way Drive. The class raising the most money for United Way received a field trip to Wolfpack for a fun workout. In addition, all classes that raised, that doesn't sound like fun to you.
I've been there.
In addition, you lost me place. Oh, there it is. In addition, all classes that raised $125 or more for United Way got to participate in a fun fitness time with Wolfpack on the school playground. Wolfpack provided their gym and services to Woodlands free of charge. Hunter and his son Denver serve on the Woodlands Safe and Healthy School Committee, and next month, the gym is coordinating all of the races at the Woodlands track meet. Wolfpack Performance is a great partner with Woodlands. We are blessed to have them on Team PCPS. We are grateful for all they do. Congratulations to Hunter and Dylan Wolf and Wolfpack Performance on their selection as the April 2022 Friend of Education for Ponca City Public Schools.
Okay, if all of you award winners would go out and have a picture out in the hall.
All right, just a little update for the 58th regular legislative session. I know that everyone's aware of this, but I do want to talk about vouchers, education accounts for parents of private school students. Now, this was known as the Oklahoma Empowerment Act. It was narrowly defeated on the Senate floor late in the evening of March 23 with a 22-24 vote, and it happened right before midnight. I was worn out by the time it was over, and I think a lot of the senators were too. However, nothing is over at the end of session, at the Capitol until the end of session. So educators are still concerned about this bill. We're hearing that it could come back with the title stricken, meaning changes could still be made. I will keep everyone informed, keep our staff informed, and we will continue to advocate. But we do expect that that could come back. If not this year, depends on leadership for next year. I think it will be coming back next year. We have some big deadlines this week. So bills passed in one house have now gone to the opposite house. So this week historically is a busy week because if bills fail to make it through this stage, they are considered dead. They have to stay alive by April 14th. But again, anything can happen at the Capitol. This week is also a big week because the candidate filing period is April 13th through the 15th, Wednesday through Friday, and there are several major Oklahoma elections, and I won't read all these to you, but we now have 6 candidates for governor. And then for state school superintendent, 2 more have announced that they're going to join The current field of candidates, we had Dr. John Cox, Dr. April Grace, and Ryan Walters, says what they do. The new candidates who have announced have not, we're not sure if they have filed yet, and that's Jerry Griffin, a board member at Tulsa, and Jenna Nelson, teacher at Deer Creek Middle School, and she was actually Oklahoma's Teacher of the Year, I believe, last year. So the week of 3/28, there were some bills signed by the governor. Senate Bill 2 creates the Save Women's Sports Act, and basically it prohibits anyone of the male sex from playing on any athletic team that has females, women, girls, and it requires that a parent of a student who competes on a school athletic team to sign an affidavit annually acknowledging the biological sex of the student at birth. If there's any changes, they have to notify the school within 30 days. Then this bill has also been signed by the governor, Senate Bill 1511, excuse me. It was actually, one of the authors was Representative Pfeiffer, who is in our district some, serves part of our district. It prohibits medical marijuana commercial growers from being within 1,000 feet from a public or a private school. However, it grandfathers in facilities currently within 1,000 feet. Something to note about this bill, it does not force facilities to move if a public or a private school opens within 1,000 feet of their current site. So that is effective immediately, both of those. So this was a House State Powers Committee bill that passed. This was actually a 2021 carryover, Senate Bill 784. It takes language from House Bill 4015 that failed to advance past the legislative deadline and dumps it into Senate Bill 784. Basically gives the power of the State Attorney's General Office to investigate any issues or orders or civil rights, discrimination complaints involving a public school. The AG's office also would initiate periodic compliance reviews of practices and would have broad discretion to decide what should be reviewed and how frequently such reviews would be conducted. So it has passed through the House State Powers Committee. House Appropriations Committee and Budget Subcommittee. This is a good bill. It's Senate Bill 1673. I've talked to you about it before. It expands Oklahoma's promise eligibility based on a family's income, beginning with 8th, 9th, 10th, or 11th grade students who are enrolled in a public or a private school, and for those 13 to 16 who are educated by other means, maybe homeschooled. And I won't read these to you, but you can take a look at what the increases are on the federal adjusted gross income of the students' parents. So that has passed. The House Common Education Committee bills considered last week. There's several here. I'll go through them quickly. These bills passed. Senate Bill 1112 expands to support employee transfer priority regardless of capacity. And when we set our capacity limits, I talked to you about this. It's already written in statute that certified teachers students get to come regardless of capacity. Now, this expands it to support employees. Now, there's some other legislation that I'll talk about that includes that too. Senate Bill 1307, Senator Coleman is one of the authors, and this requires students 7th through 12th grade who are issued a student ID card to have calling and texting numbers for the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline and Crisis Text Line. This will go into effect July 1 of 2023 if passed, and they say that we can deplete our existing supply of ID cards before making changes. So that has passed out at Common Education Committee. This is 1429, removes the OGET requirements for master's degree teaching candidate. That means they do not have to take the Oklahoma General Educational Teacher Proficiency Exam if they have a master's degree. Senate Bill 1618 requires the State Department to develop and operate a website listing school district employee vacancies. People can go on apply, districts can get applicants from there. We all have our own software too, so that has passed through committee. 1620 Senate bill, we've talked about this, removes boundary requirements for transportation if districts so choose to go outside of their lines. Senate Bill 1617 requires Holocaust education to be taught in 6th through 12th in public schools beginning this very next school year. The SDE will provide resources that may be incorporated into current courses, and they have to work with an organization that preserves and enhances Jewish life in Oklahoma for these resources. This bill failed, and it was one that we okay with it failing. It's Senate Bill 1624. Basically, this transfers the responsibility for the National School Lunch Program away from the State Department to the Department of Agriculture, and it would become effective July 2023. And I know that Jeff has some concerns about continuity of things, and there would be some different requirements. It did fail, but we're hearing that it could be brought up again this week in committee. So we'll see how that goes. This bill was laid over. If any public body uses high-speed internet, it would require us to stream all our board education meetings on our website and post the recording after the meeting. We don't stream ours live, but we do post the recording after the board meeting. Also, it permits public bodies to conduct an executive session using video technology in any county that the governor has declared a state of an emergency. Kind of like some temporary rules that we had during COVID. Senate Appropriation Committee bill that passed. This is a good bill. This requires the state regents for higher education to establish a scholarship program to incentivize students to become teachers. Now, the program shall last at least 5 years as funding is available. So there's that little caveat. A scholarship recipient must agree to teach in an Oklahoma public school for a minimum of 5 years. While they're in college, the student will receive $1,000 for the first 3 years and $2,500 for their final year. And this is the best part of it, is upon graduation from an approved teacher prep program, a teacher may receive a payment of up to $4,000 a year for up to 5 years, so $20,000 to keep them in Oklahoma. Here's my concern. It's not going to change overnight, but I like the last bullet. Oh, this is interesting. And for a student to be considered, they have to have graduated from an Oklahoma high school. So it can't be anyone from Texas or Kansas. So that did pass appropriations. Senate Education Committee bills, House Bill 3038 modifies the state's open transfer policy, which there are several bills here. It allows a district to accept a brother or a sister regardless of capacity if we give preference to sibling transfers, which that is in our policy, which was recommended. Requiring a district to accept the transfer of a child whose parent or guardian is a district employee regardless of capacity, which the policy already says we take certified employees, and there's more legislation for support. And then give priority to a student transfer if the student was a resident for at least 3 years but moved out of the district. So let's say they were in our district for 3 years and they moved to Tonkawa. Then they go to the top of the list, so we give them priority. Clarifying that transferred students may automatically continue to attend the school they have transferred to after their first year. So they don't have to complete that paperwork for the open transfer year after year, which, you know, that the bill's been, when this came to be, it was unclear, and that was noted to us. Now, and I think I told you this last time, originally we were told we could only change the capacity limits on the quarter, January, April, so forth, but Julie Miller did clarify we can change those capacity limits at any month, just so long as they're board approved. The reason being is you don't accept a transfer just because you want to. The board has to approve it. So the capacity limit. House Bill 3253 allows a student who has completed the core curriculum graduation requirements to be eligible for Oklahoma's Promise Scholarship to a career tech. House Bill 3658 removes the OGET requirement for alternative placement teacher certification. This bill passed. This one's interesting. If public schools, universities, state agencies, and public libraries have a database for an online library, we have to guarantee that students in grades K through 12 are not viewing obscene material. If we fail to comply, the state entity is required to withhold payment to the provider. And we have to submit an annual report each year. House Bill 4370 requires school districts with more than 5,000 students to live stream all public board meetings. We are currently not more than 5,000 students, but if the other bill passes, if we have high-speed internet, we may be doing it anyway. House Bill 4388 requires any net proceeds that exceed $60 million in the Oklahoma Education Lottery Trust Fund be deposited into a newly created Teacher Empowerment Fund. And this would fund salary supplements for teachers with lead and master certificates. And the funds will be distributed on a first-come, first-served basis. And it will go to teachers and will be used as a state match to local public school dollars. So I'm guessing this is where the $100,000 incentive is coming in. So we'll see how that works out for us. We'll see if it passes. Advocacy, we do legislative briefings every Wednesday at 9 o'clock. You can earn an ethics point. Sometimes I do not get that link until right seconds before we start because of happenings at the Capitol. We have personal communication with local legislators, many in our district do. Our OEA ACT has association leave and they advocate regularly. I update our staff weekly and ask for calls to action, and our staff responds really well and they communicate with our legislators up on their own. OSSBA Day at the Capitol is April 12th. Which is tomorrow. So I know that Judy and Anna are both attending. So you will get an ethics point if you attend the luncheon at the OSSBA Conference Center. So this is going to be very short and sweet because it's minimal. Our COVID update. As you know, we've moved away from the COVID alert risk system, or the Oklahoma State Department of Health has. We now rely on the CDC with the U.S. COVID-19 community risk by county. You can see where we are. It's been minimal. Here's where we are as of today, and I haven't even had time to check the log. Was it all good? Okay, so nothing. We like lots of zeros. We did have 7 affected last week, which is a little more than the previous week, but look, there's our year-to-date data. So it can tell you exactly where we are. You remember the beginning of the school, and then it was pretty tough. That whole first semester, you can see Christmas break, and then it was really tough with Omicron when we came back after the holiday break, and you can see how it's diminished quickly. Okay, quickly, the FDA has approved a second mRNA booster, and these are the qualifications. I will tell you that if you're 50 or older, you can get your second mRNA booster, but it has to be at least 4 months after the first dose. Immunocompromised individuals who are 12 and older may receive a second booster at least 4 months. Now this is interesting. They've approved that 12 to 17-year-olds must receive the Pfizer. 18 and older may choose Pfizer or Moderna. There's some information about those who took Johnson & Johnson. The second booster is at the same strength. Moderna, the second booster is about a quarter of the strength, and Pfizer is about a third. And basically, you need 4 months between your first and second dose. The K County Health Department is working with our staff. All they have to do is walk in, take their badge, and I got this information out to our staff this morning. So I do want, this is April, but it's not why I'm doing it in April since we can do it in any month, but as we go along with the transfer law that went into effect on January 1 of this year, there are going to be unintended consequences. And here's where we are as of this as of 4/1, I'm sure that's changed already. I should not say as of this 10 seconds. But if you'll notice, I have 7th grade starred and 9th grade starred, and I'll tell you why. Seventh grade is when we get our students from our dependent school district from McCord. Okay? Chances are they're going to be residents, but they may not be residents, and it depends on where they live in the Osage. So we want to make sure there's plenty of capacity for seventh graders coming to McCord, and ninth grade is when our private schools come in. So if you take a look at where we are at sixth grade on October 1, we're at 344. Likely, we would not need to raise that capacity, but I don't want any of our McCord families to stress about that, so I'm going to recommend increasing the seventh grade capacity, but look from eighth grade to ninth grade. If all 348 of those students in eighth grade go to ninth grade, we're above our capacity limit, so we don't want any of our private school people to worry about that. And so the recommendation for your consideration tonight is capacity changes in seventh grade from 360, which is currently set, to 370. That's the one that we had some cushion in. And ninth grade from 340 to 360. And that will assure our parents that we have some space if they do not happen to be resident students. Remember, I want to go back to this. These are for transfers. We can go over, and you can see that we're pre-K through third grade. We have no capacity. Now, if a resident moves in, yes, we take them. They're ours. This is for transfers only. And I'm telling you, it's always going to be a battle in kindergarten and first because of the state law that says we have to cap those at 20 students. So, any questions for me? Okay.
Okay. Okay, number 6, consideration and take action on changing the transfer capacity limits for 7th and 9th grade. Do I have a motion?
Seventh grade was 360 to 370, and ninth grade was 340 to 360. And if we find that we don't need that room and we're full, we can always come back and I can recommend a change of capacity to the board.
Make a motion to consider and take action on number 6.
Okay, Anna made the motion. Do I have a second?
I'll go ahead and second it.
Okay.
Nancy seconded it. Call for vote.
Mrs. Rowland,
Aye.
Mr. Riley,
Aye.
Mrs. Troop,
Aye.
Mr. Newsom.
Aye.
Mrs. Zimmershed.
Aye.
Next on the agenda is the consent agenda, and motion required for the approval of the consent agenda as printed or as amended. Board members may, however, call for a separate vote on any or all items listed on the consent agenda. Number 1 is the agenda with commentary. Number 2, minutes from March 7th, 2022, regular board meeting, and March 23rd, 2022, special board meeting. Number 3, contract agreements under $10,000, and 4, surplus resolution. Do I have a motion for the consent agenda?
For approval.
Don made the motion. Do I have a second?
Second that.
Anna seconded. Call for the vote.
Mrs. Zimmershed.
Aye.
Mr. Riley,
Aye.
Mr. Newsom.
Aye.
Mrs. Troop,
Aye.
Mrs. Rowland.
Aye.
Okay. Number 8 is action items, and a motion is required. Number 1, consideration and take action on the following district financial reports descriptions. A, fiscal year 22, general fund 11 encumbrances in the amount of $1,040,850.84. B, the fiscal year 22 building fund 21 encumbrances in the amount of $21,887.41. Fiscal year 22 Child Nutrition Fund, 22 encumbrances in the amount of $65,800. D, 2020 Building Fund, 32 encumbrances in the amount of $181,982.94. Number E, fiscal year 22 Gifts and Endowments Fund, 81 encumbrances in the amount of $13,094.57. F, change order listing as of 4/4/22 for Funds 11, 21, 22, and Fund 81. G, budget analysis reports. H, bond fund reports. I, Booster Club fundraiser request. J, activity fund reports request. K, treasurer reports. And L, ratification and approval of payroll.
Motion to approve.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. Don made the motion and Robin seconded it, so call for the vote.
Mr. Riley?
Aye.
Mrs. Rowland?
Aye.
Mr. Newsom?
Aye.
Mrs. Troop?
Aye?
Mrs. Zimmershed?
Aye.
Okay, number 2 on the action items. Consider and take action on revision of Board Policy Section 4, instructions, prohibition on race and sexual discrimination in curriculum and instruction. Commentary, the State Board of Education approved permanent rules for House Bill 1775 on March 10th, 2022. PCPS approved the emergency rules for the prohibition of race and sex. Is that separate? Okay. Do I need to read the whole thing? Okay. Discrimination in the fall of 2021. PCPS does not teach critical race theory, and all curriculum taught aligns to Oklahoma academic standards. The primary changes from the emergency policy to the permanent policy were: 1, decreased number of days to investigate and report; 2, minor definition changes; and 3, clarifications to the anti-retaliation section of the policy. Dr. Delana Hawkins will answer questions.
Move for approval.
I'll second.
Okay, Dawn approved, made the
Motion?
motion, and Anna seconded it. So, call for the vote.
Mr. Riley?
Aye.
Mrs. Troop?
Aye.
Mrs. Rowland?
Aye.
Mr. Newsom?
Aye.
Mrs. Zimmershed?
Aye.
Let's see. Okay, consideration and takes the action on the following contracts and agreement. A, agreement with AMAX Sign Company Incorporated for an electronic sign for Lincoln Elementary. The agreement is for the materials and labor and the installation for a total of $21,288. And Adam will answer questions.
Does that make all our schools have the signs, electronic signs now?
No.
Do we still have Lincoln to do? Okay. And we're going that way, right? I mean,
And they're raising the money
They're
from
ma- okay.
PTA's activity funds. so-
Okay. Okay, B, agreement with American Roofing to repair roof leaks at the West Middle School cafeteria. And the cost of this would be $10,000. And Adam will answer questions if anyone has them.
It's not to exceed 10,000, okay.
Oh, not to exceed, the cost is not to exceed $10,000. Thank you, Anna. Number C, agreement with Image Learning LLC for user licenses for elementary students enrolled in the Ponca City Virtual Academy. This agreement is for 40 single-user licenses for 1 semester, 18 weeks, for elementary K-5 students enrolled in the Ponca City Virtual Academy. The total cost is $15,000, and Terry Vogel will answer questions if anyone has any.
This used to be Edgenuity, and they were purchased by Imagine Learning, so it's for our virtual kids, and we're planning on having a virtual academy as well next year. We have about 110 district-wide
Okay.
in PCVA.
Does this come out of ESSER funds?
Yes.
Okay.
Or 20%.
Okay, D, agreement with Image Learning, Imagine, Learning for Language and Literacy Sites licenses. Commentary is this agreement is for 8 Imagine Learning and Literacy Site licenses for Washington Pre-K and all elementary schools for $200,000, and 30 Imagine Language and Literacy annual student licenses for EL students at West Middle School for $4,500. Also included is 1 professional development comprehensive webinar package for up to 40 educators, along with 8 virtual sessions of our choice for $6,000. And this is the second school year of a 3-year contract. The total cost is $209,150 for the 2022-2023 school year. This total includes $1,350 discount. Terry Vogel will answer questions. Does anyone have questions for Terry?
Is EL the acronym for English Language Learner now? Okay.
English learners.
English learners. Okay.
Okay. Number,
It's not language learners anymore. It's changed. Okay.
Used to be EL.
ELL. Okay, I thought it used to be, but now it's EL.
they keep changing those letters on us to confuse us, I think. Okay, number E, agreement with Johnson Controls for Halo smart sensors to be installed at Poe High. This agreement will provide materials and installation of 14 Halo smart sensors in restrooms at Poe High. The sensors detect vape use as well as noise detection. The total cost is $40,238. And Adam Lemming will answer questions if anyone has any.
I have a question.
No.
Beep, 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 it goes off. What are we doing?
It won't make a noise.
It won't.
sends
It goes
a
to you,
text-
though.
It sends a text or email to the people we designate.
And then they'll
That's
go.
Principals, teachers, custodians, and it will tell you what it detects.
Nice,
They
Okay.
take off.
nice.
And they take off to
Good.
We have
get it
committees
stopped.
currently, and it's really helped.
When are you installing those? At this summer or?
Oh, yeah. I'm not doing much this summer, Don, so I thought we.
It's a good deal, I'm glad.
It'll be a good thing, yeah. But there is no it's silent.
It's silent, it goes to a phone.
Yes.
It goes straight to emails and text messages.
Oh, that'd be neat to watch in
Instantly.
action.
Plus, remember, at the high school, we're going to be redoing the restrooms, so it'll be a lot easier to install them, I think, won't it? I think.
We've got experience
Yep.
installing them at
Okay, F, agreement with Johnson Controls for Halo smart sensors to be installed at West Middle School. This agreement will provide materials and installation of 8 Halo smart sensors in restrooms at West Middle School. The sensors detect vape use as well as noise detection. The total cost is $22,069. And Adam, I think, has already answered the questions. Okay, same. Okay, G, agreement with Renaissance Learning Incorporated for license renewal for reading and math level assessment software. Commentary. This license agreement is for software used by K through 12 in assessing reading and math levels with programs such as Accelerated Reader, Accelerated Math, Freckle Math, Star 360, and Star Math. The cost is $95,415.30 for the 2022 and 2023 school year. This total includes a $1,983.15 discount. And Terry will answer questions if we have any.
I realized that was K through 12. I thought it was just K through like 8. Okay.
Oh, is it?
It's not 12. Okay.
It's not 12?
But they just
Okay.
count it, like the company itself maybe does K-12, but we only use it as up to, okay.
Is this ESSER money?
Yes.
So do we use it K through 12 or just K through 8?
Through it.
Okay. Well, I know, and
The K-12 company.
I know.
This is ESSER? Shelley?
I know, and when I was a teacher in elementary, I use the accelerator reader a
So we
lot.
just transferred it into the 20% of the American Relief Plan.
Okay, that's all of them. Do I have a motion to approve, what was it?
A through G, yes.
Yeah, A through G.
Second.
Don made the motion and Robin seconded it?
Yes.
Okay, call for the vote.
Mrs. Zimmershed? Aye. Mrs. Rowland?
Aye.
Mr. Newsom?
Aye.
Mr. Riley?
Aye.
Mrs. Troop?
Aye. Okay, number 4, a motion and vote to convene in executive session for the following purposes: to discuss the possible termination, reassignment, and resignation and employment of personnel on the detached detailed personnel report. Let's see, skip.
And to discuss,
Where does it jump down to? Is it?
and to discuss confidential
Oh,
conversations.
and to discuss confidential conversations with the board's attorney concerning the purchase or appraisal of real property. The attorney advises that public disclosure will seriously impair the ability of the school board to process the claim and any related future litigations in the public interest. Do I have a motion for executive session?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Okay.
Mr. Newsom?
Aye.
Mrs. Rowland?
Aye.
Mr. Riley?
Aye.
Mrs. Troop?
Aye.
Mrs. Zimmershed?
Aye.
Okay. Do I count this one? Okay. We're in the executive session. Okay, we're returning to open session. The recital by board president that minutes of executive session were kept by the board minutes clerk and will remain confidential. Number 7, consider and take action to adopt a resolution to authorize the filing of 2 eminent domain actions to acquire real property. This resolution authorizes the filing of 2 eminent domain actions to acquire real property known as lots 1 through 3 and lots 22 through 24, block 59, cross addition to the city of Ponca City, Kay County, Oklahoma, for the use and possession of the Ponca City Public School District. Do I have a motion?
I will make a motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll take a second to take action on number 7.
Nancy made the motion and Anna seconded. Call for the vote.
Mrs. Troop?
Aye.
Mr. Riley?
Aye.
Mr. Newsom?
Aye.
Mrs. Zimmershed?
Aye.
Mrs. Rowland?
Aye.
Okay, new business. We don't,
We have no new business.
we have no new business. Okay.
Oh, we got to do.
We got number 8.
Number
eight.
I'm sorry.
Consider and take action.
Consideration and take action on recommendations for termination, reassignment, resignation, and employment of personnel.
Motion approved.
Second.
Okay. Donna made the motion and Robin seconded it. Call for the vote.
Mr. Newsom?
Aye.
Mr. Riley?
Aye.
Mrs. Rowland?
Aye.
Mrs. Troop?
Aye.
Mrs. Zimmershed?
Aye.
Okay, any new business? Okay. Do I have a motion for adjournment?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye.